from the Bahamas at the Hilton Hotel. Dare to be great with creator and host, master motivator Spence Findlayson. And now, here's Spence Findlayson.
Good evening and welcome to Dare to Be Great. My guest this evening is a Bahamian sensation, Orthland Bodie Jr. Welcome to Dare to Be Great, sir.
My brother Findlayson, let me emphasize that it's not Orthland Bodie Jr., it is Orthland H. Bodie Jr.
Thank you very much, sir. What is the H for, by the way?
The H means several things. It could mean hardest, it could mean Hezekiah,
Yes.
which it means, but I prefer to use the word hardest.
Okay, Orthland Bodie Jr. Who is Orthland H. Bodie Jr.?
Well, you know, Brother Findlayson, first of all, let me thank you for inviting me here this evening. I'm so happy to be in the presence of such wonderful young Bahamian citizens, students from St. John's College and from the St. Anne's. My eldest daughter, Tamika Johnson, now, she attended St. Anne's. My youngest daughter, Jasmine, will be attending St. John's next year. Wow. And I'm so pleased to see that we have a cadre of young people in this country who are not written off as lost or as a part of the lost generation.
Wonderful. Give them some love. Give yourself some love.
I want to give you all a kudos.
Yes.
You know, Spence, we hear so many horror stories about young people that they have gone astray, they're not motivated. But obviously to have these students here this evening at 7 o'clock in the evening,
Yes.
when they could have been home on the electronic equipment,
Yes, sir.
or wherever else they would have been, they're here. Not because of me, of course, but of course. But I want to say congratulations to these young students, especially the young men and the ladies, because the men have been written off in this country. But Spence Findlayson, Orthland H. Bodie Jr., I'm a barrister at law by training. I messed up big time some years ago. I did some stupid stuff. I got involved with bad company. I had a first failed marriage. I probably got married too young. And I said to young people, don't rush into marriage. The men, wait till about 20, 25. The women, probably a little older. Because at 20, 25, you really don't know what it is that you really want in terms of a life mate. You might say, I'm in love. You fall for a person, or so you feel you fall for a person. But it doesn't go like that. You have to ensure compatibility. You have to ensure that your life objectives are the same. And you have to ensure that the person is spiritually and morally grounded.
Yes.
Sex is not everything. Right. And trust me, I'm a handsome young man still.
Give him some love. Give him some love.
I've been there. I've done that.
Give him some love.
You know, I played the field. I had my share of whatever, the wine, woman, and song. But it does not go like that. Wonderful. And I want to encourage the young men especially, and especially the young ladies, to understand that when people come with these platitudes, oh, you're so beautiful, oh, I love you, oh, you, that is a bunch of nonsense. Find yourself grounded, stay in school, get an education like I did. I got an education, thank God for my parents.
Yes.
I got that education. I became a successful barrister. At 21, I was called to the Bahamas bar. At 23, I dominated the criminal bar. I had all of the cases.
Yes, sir.
If there were 90 cases at a particular session, I had about 89. So the other lawyers had to share 2 or 3 cases. Okay. I had all of the cases. I represented 75 persons charged with murder, homicides. I successfully acquitted or had acquitted 74. I lost 1 murder case out of 75. Wow. I was good, but it went to my head. I made money like dirt. Each year I made about $100,000 or more dollars without even trying. At 25, I had probably about $2-3 million in the bank. So I thought I had arrived. I thought I was somebody. I thought it was all about me. But my brothers and sisters, let me emphasize, without the power of God in your life,
yes, sir,
it is nothing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Nothing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Big house, big car, all the girls, everything else I had.
Yes, sir.
But it had to come to the point where the Lord had to reduce me down to, like Job in the Bible, down to 0.
Yes.
I lost my first marriage. I lost my profession as a lawyer. I was disbarred as a lawyer. I'm not happy about it, but I do believe that if I had not been disbarred, I would have probably been either in Sandilands, Foxville Prison, or in Woodlawn Gardens. But Orthland H. Bodie Jr. has bounced back.
Yes, sir.
And I mean, bigger than before.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And I can only safely say that if you focus on what you really want and understand that it's not all about you, it's about service to country, service to self, but more importantly, you have to acknowledge that there is a higher power in your life. That is what I'm all about.
Give him some love. Give him some love. Give the man some love. Brother Bodie, you said a mouthful in that. You said a whole mouthful.
Well, I'm a talk show host.
Yes,
I get paid for
and
talking.
and a good one at that. You talked about a job experience, and that was my next question for you. You publicly talk about your job experience. Tell us how you were able to bounce back tonight from that.
Well, but
wilderness
listen, let me tell
experience.
you, that job experience is not one that I would wish on anybody. It has sent some men or women to commit suicide. I lived in a mansion. I could charter a jet to go to New York for breakfast, charter a jet to go to London for lunch, charter a jet to go to Moscow for dinner. But as I said, I made some terrible mistakes in my personal life choices. And after I was this bad, rightfully so, let me emphasize that, it was not anything political or anything else, it was rightfully done. I actually slept in my Volkswagen car for a month. Slept in my car. I parked my car in front of a graveyard on Step Street, Foxhill, and Foxhill Road, called Mount Carey Baptist Church. Having had a house with 10 bedrooms and about 6 bathrooms, I had to go into the graveyard at night when it was dark to make sure no one, or I thought no one would see me, to do whatever I had to do. And Spence Finlayson and members of the panel and the audience, one day I went off to Miami, Florida, and I just decided to go to a particular church. This church was called Mount Carmel Baptist Church in a place called Carroll City, Florida. And I read a passage of scripture called, "Until I had went into the house of the Lord, I was almost gone." And my young brothers and sisters, you might think I'm talking from an older person perspective.
Could you hold that just 1 second?
But
Dr.
God
Bodie?
has never changed.
I don't want to stop you with that. That's so good. We're going to take a break for a minute right now.
Hi, I would like to send some shout outs to a few of our faithful viewers. The Colbrooks from Emerald Ridge, Mary McKay, Monique Rowe, Robbie the Carpenter, Wendy Godfrey, Karen Kemp, Bishop Reeve Francis and family, and Barbara Fox. We will be right back after these messages.
You've been watching Dare to Be Great from the Bahamas with Master Motivator Spence Finlayson. For speaking engagements, seminars, workshops, retreats, and conferences, please call 242-364-4011. Dare to Be Great.
Welcome back to Dare to Be Great. My guest tonight is the Bahamian extraordinaire, Orthland H. Bodie Jr. At this point, we'll take a few questions from our audience.
Mr. Bodie, you spoke on the younger generation being lost. What do you feel we can do to stop that?
Well, when I say the young, and thank you, Ms. Williams, when I say the young generation are lost, they're not really lost. But the older people in this country, Spence, for some reason, tend to say that the younger people, they're no good. They have no innovative ideas, that they only into, the little hip-hop music. But that's not true. The fact of seeing you people here tonight, 20, 25, 30 of you young students here tonight, when you could have been at home watching your electronic gadgets or whatever you all do at home in the evenings. I'm a little older like that, so. But my daughter, she's 10, and she's computer savvy. So I know what it is to be on electronic equipment, but the fact that you all are here tonight, so well dressed, so well mannerly, it indicates to me that when persons like myself, and probably, well, not Spence so much, I'm a little older than Spence, but when we pass up the stage, that the country will be in good hands. So we are not lost. And the fact that you are a beautiful, vivacious, obviously intelligent young lady, it means that we still have a remnant of people here in this country who are going to look out for us.
Thank you. Good
so
stuff.
We'll be all right.
Good stuff.
We'll be all right.
We have another question from our audience.
Good night. My name is Jermaine Fritz, and I attend St. Anne's School. Mr. Bodie, recently you said that you went down some troublesome paths when you were younger. what advice would you give the younger generation, specifically men, to prevent them from going down that same path?
Let me say that the young people have a lot of peer pressure. They have a lot of distractions. They have a lot of persons of the older generation who perhaps are trying to seduce them, not necessarily sexually, but into things that they should not be involved in. I would want to encourage persons, especially the young men like yourself, to be moral, have some standards, because without standards you are nothing. And it is so easy, you're not a bad-looking young fellow. I'm sure all the girls in your school are crazy about you. But that is not what it is all about. On education, I want to read something here from Sir Lyndon's, there's a book written by Michael Creighton about Sir Lyndon's life. Sir Lyndon, of course, was one of our outstanding prime ministers and premier. It says on page 190 of this book, The Life and Times of Sir Lyndon Oscar Pinland, he enjoined the youths to respect their forerunners like Clarence Bain and Milo Butler, whose brave initiative made the advancement possible in this country. Sir Lyndon also said, and I'm quoting him, the young should ensure that they are prepared, or that they prepare themselves for responsibility through education. Above all, they should eschew, meaning avoid, temptations to make changes through revolutionary means. We don't mean by bloodshed. But what Sir Lyndon meant was that there's a time to be young, there's a time for partying, there's a time for having the fun, because we all need to have a little bit of that, including me at my advanced age. I still have fun in my own personal life, but with responsibility. Sir Lyndon has always said that education is the key. And I thank God for my parents every single day that they ensured I went to the old government high school where COB is now located, and I got a very, very good education. I mean, I'm a brain box. I can brag, I'm a brain box. I studied my lessons, I paid attention to my manners, and because of my education, even though I fell down from the professional point, my education has always been able to, with God's help of course, to bring me back to the top. So young men, stay in school, date the ladies, take them on a little date, but don't try to make no babies. Don't try to say, I love you, and then I want to have my baby. No, sir. Get your education first, become a doctor, become a lawyer, even a garbage collector, whatever you decide you want to do it and do it well. Then you go to the young lady's house and say to the parents, go to the parents, don't just talk to the woman behind the darkin on the bush. I am Mr. Fritz. I am a lawyer, I'm a doctor, I'm a so-and-so, or whatever you want to be. I like your daughter. I would like to date her for a period of time. Don't marry right away. Get to know the person. Because everything that glitters is not gold. So, Mr. Fritz, you stay in school.
Give him some love. Thank you, Dr. Bodie. We have a student from St. John's, the Green Giants.
Good night. My name is
Good night, my dear.
Good night. My name is Veronica Bodie, and I'm the proud head girl of St. John's College.
Oh, give us some love. Give us some love.
Mr. Bodie, you spoke about your hardships in the past. I just want to know, how exactly did you deal with the negativity that generated from society?
How would you do?
How did you deal with the negativity that generated from
Oh,
society?
the negativity, my dear, is small. You see, the problem we have in this country, and I'm sure other countries, is that we tend to expound on what appears to be the problem. But there are no such things as problem, you know. There are only possibilities and opportunities.
Yes, sir.
When you're given a lemon in life, like Spence liked to say, you make some lemonade.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You know, we have a lot of young girls your age or probably a little younger who did not finish or didn't have the opportunity to go to high school. They made some bad lifestyle choices, and now they have maybe one or two. I'm not saying you or anybody, but they have one or two little kids, and they feel hopeless. We've had a number of suicides or alleged suicides recently. It's because people get to the point where they feel like life has left them by. But let me assure you, young lady, that the negativities are only challenges. It's how you respond to challenges that make you the person that God has meant you to be.
Oh,
and God wants you to succeed.
Yes, give him some love. Good stuff.
He wants you to succeed.
Good stuff, Brother Bodie.
No
Good
failures,
stuff.
no
Good
failures.
stuff. Good stuff. We're going to go to the next person, St. John's Green Giants again.
Good night. My name is Aisha Nurse, and I'm the senior prefect of St. John's College. I'd like to ask you that through all the ups and downs you went through, from a mansion down to the bottom in the graveyard.
The Volkswagen car.
Yes,
In the
sir.
bush.
Yes, sir. Did you ever doubt that there was a God?
Never,
Good question, good
never,
question.
never. Let me say that in my darkest days, and thank God they're behind me now, there were times when family, so-called friends, persons who you thought would have been your acquaintances would have, well, they just want nothing to do with you. Because when you're doing bad, you'll find that you just down there by yourself. But you're not by yourself, you know. God is always there. And I don't want to emphasize God, because some of you may not necessarily be Christians like I am, but let me say that there's a higher power, whatever name you call him by. And if you just say, Lord, you, or whatever name you want to say, you made me, because somebody made us. We didn't just come out of the clear blue sky. And you know, there was a time I used to involve myself in dangerous drugs, about 20 years ago. I used to have, there was something called the crack cocaine. That was a popular thing 20 years ago, you know, mostly for middle-class people. We call it the rocks. So I used to hit these rocks with my so-called rich friends and acquaintances. I thought it was a glamorous lifestyle. But you know, one day I had a party at my mansion. I said before the party started, I'd go and have a rock or two to feel good. So I went to someone's house around 7 o'clock that evening. And you know what time I left the man's house? 7 o'clock the next morning on rocks, having a good time. I actually had to go on my knees and I said, Lord, you made me for something different than this. I ain't taking this no more. And you know, I actually wrestled with God. I fought with him. Like how if I would grab Spence and fight with Spence, I say, Lord, you got to do something for me.
You won't let him go until he
And
bless
I didn't
you.
let him go.
Until he bless you.
And my brothers and my sisters, instantaneously, not no silence rehabilitation, not no rehab, bam, it was gone. So I want to say to persons who go through these little problems in life, just believe in yourself, man. There's something better out there. And I want to thank Mrs. Finlayson again for inviting me here, because I'm so happy to be able to share this with you young people.
We'll take a break right now and we'll be right back after these messages.
Dare to be Great is proudly sponsored by the Hilton Hotel, BTC, Virgo Car Rentals, Brother B Snack Shop, Henry F. Store Electric, Fields Foods, Sky Bahamas, and AFD Management Services.
You've been watching Dare to Be Great from the Bahamas with Master Motivator Spence Finlayson. For speaking engagements, seminars, workshops, retreats, and conferences, please call 242-364-4011. Dare to Be Great.
Welcome back to Dare to Be Great. My guest this evening is Mr. Orthland H. Bodie Jr. on this great program. But we'll entertain a question from a student from St. John's College.
Yes, good night. My name is Cameron Ree, and I'm the head boy of St. John's College.
Oh, give him some love. Another hand clap.
He's short like me.
Yes, Mr.